Good morning, and it's about 11 o'clock here in Inverness, and I hope everyone's well. I put a post up yesterday about what is success for you. What is success for you as a coach, as a player, as a mentor, as a parent? How would you define that? How would you define what success is? You know, it's probably the ultimate in goal setting, isn't it? How do we know we've won? And it's quite, you could take it at whatever level you want it to be. You know, as a player, I'm sure if you're playing or if you're a coach, the classic one would be, and I see one person's put it, and you know, it's the obvious one, isn't it? If you're playing a competitive game, you want to win. But if we ever say you want to win, what you have to put out underneath it is, how are we going to win? So if winning's your drive, that's great, but how are you going to do it? You know, how is your team going to get to the position where they can win a match? So success, obviously, you know, in a competitive environment is definitely, you know, you've got that. You can see the scoreboard, can't you? You can see how many goals you've got, how many goals your team's got. It's obvious, half-time, full-time. Over the period of a season, you can look at the table and see how well you're getting on, what you need to improve on, what's your wins, losses and draws. So that's the obvious, one of the obvious definitions of success, isn't it? You know, winning. But also, if you've put winning as your kind of goal, what do you do if you don't win? You know, how do you react if you don't win? Do you use it as a motivator? Have you got the bit about you that you can know what to improve on so the next time you win the match, or if you draw the match? Or if you don't win, do you have the reaction where you get angry but you don't know what to do with the anger? And that often can be destructive, isn't it? You put it inside yourself, or if you're doing it usefully, you put it outside yourself. So you take it in and you think, right, I'm going to work harder. That's not going to happen again. And we're going to improve our shape, we're going to improve the width in our team. Individually, I'm going to work a little bit harder. As a coach, I'm going to work on my communication style. So that's all about generating and taking that energy of it not going well, the winning not happening, and turning it into really a useful outcome for you to drive forward. Now, at a high performance level, at an elite level, that drive not to get beat is huge. You know, that drive of hating, and that's a strong word, but that's what it's like for elite athletes, hating to lose. But they know what to do with the energy and the emotion. That's the key. So if I don't win the match, if we lose, what do I do with it? There was a great example of another sport I love is tennis. I lived in Wimbledon in London for years, and when I was doing my degree in sport, I lived in just round the corner at a place called Southlands College from the All England, and I worked at the Wimbledon club for about 3 years when I was studying my degree. And I was really lucky that I got to meet a lot of the tennis players, and as a student was one of those guys that would run across with the covers if it started raining at Wimbledon. So tennis, incredible, you know, sport to learn from as well. And Roger Federer said, I know that if I'm not at my best when I go onto the court, that anyone at the top 10 can beat me. But that really motivates me to put everything into my training and give it all. So he uses that. He uses that motivation and that energy to work harder, to improve on his weaknesses, to sharpen up on his strengths. Now, what happens to a lot of people, and this is really common, I hear people spouting the whole time that they hate to lose and winning is the most important. But actually, they don't know what to do with the energy. So they tense up. So if you're a coach and you're all about winning at a youth level, and your players pick up at that, a 12-year-old, what happens to your body when you hate something or when you're tense? Look at you tense up, don't you? So if you're trying to teach a skill and the group within you are tense or fearful, they find it very difficult most of the time to pick up a skill. So that brings me on to the next question. As a coach, what's winning and what's success for you? And in particular, I've worked a lot. I've been really kind of privileged to work a lot at the pro youth level. And I've noticed one of the things that really stand out for exceptional youth coaches is their success, ultimate success of the players they're coaching is away in the future. So if they're coaching the under 14s and the boys' motivation and drive is to get to the first team, that might be 5 years down the line or 8 years down the line. So how do they measure success? A lot of the time the best youth coaches know that in order for them to measure success, what they're doing is they're laying down the pathways for ultimately future success for the group of players that's in front of you. The winning and losing and drawing, yeah, that comes. But they're teaching the players technically, tactically, physically and psychologically how to play the game, how to deal with winning and losing, how to pick up skills, how to work as a team, how to problem solve on the park. How do they know? How do they know what success is? And often, and some great feedback on the post in the page. If you haven't already, go and fill in the post. What's success for you? And often people will say, what success for me is 10, 20 years down the line. I'll be, someone put a great one saying I'll be sitting in a pub when I'm 60 or whatever it is. And a couple of boys passed over a drink to them. And they said, who's that from? And it was one of the boys they coached, when they were 7 and 8, and they developed a lifelong love of football. That's leaving a legacy. So often for youth coaches, success is nurturing that love of the game. Nurturing that love of the game. And I've seen it so many times. Sometimes if we don't watch when we're coaching at a youth level and it's in a pressurised environment, that flame of love for the game can go out for a young person so easily. So it's our job when working at youth level to nurture the flame of the love of the game. How do we nurture that love of the game that keeps them going forward, that they want to turn up the next day and train and learn? They're coachable, they're excited about coming to your club and your training. And that's brilliant, that's what we're doing. So, as a youth coach, it's slightly different or a big different. Often, the ultimate success for the player, if they're wanting to be a pro player or an elite player, is further down the line. So we measure our success often about the impact we'll make on a person or a boy or a girl. And it's not just the football side, isn't it? It's life skills. It's life skills that we're teaching at that level. And then as a coach, if we're going down into the adult level, isn't it, and at an elite level, it's so much about how, and if we're playing in a league, everyone loves winning. We love that feeling of success and winning. But also success is knowing that your team's given them all. You've responded to certain circumstances really well. You've developed a group well. So as a coach, what is your success? And then, of course, the third question would be, as a parent, if you're a football parent, if you're a sports parent, involved in the game with your son and daughter, what's success for you? And often it'll be the look of joy in your son or daughter's face when they come back for training, or how much they've kind of improved when they're playing, or how much you've nurtured and grown that love of the game for them. So it's a lifelong passion. That's certainly been my experience. Football has taken me to many parts of the world, and it's made me many friends in Scotland and England, Europe and in America and Australia as well. So just whatever you're doing, football's a universal language as well. So as a parent, nurturing that love of the game, having a hobby that you can nurture and develop, play, but also talk about with other people is just such a gift as well. So when we're talking about success, as you can see there's many different ways. There's many different metrics and gauges and ways to develop it. Some really subjective, like the feeling you have about your team and how you've coached. And some's more objective, like the winning, and like where you are in the table or how strong your players are getting, or them moving up the levels or getting a transfer. So some are subjective and some are objective. So here's my wee challenge for you. If you haven't already, look underneath and you'll see that post. What is success for you? And I would love to hear from you that haven't commented. What would be success for you, either as a player or as a coach or as a parent? So have a great day.